All right, welcome back. We are ACI Course 11, Class 4. This is January 23rd, 2026. And I have an announcement first, and that is the dates for our Course 12 have changed a little bit because my schedule changed a little bit. So we'll be starting it on Monday morning, March 23rd. I think that's only different by a couple of days. And we'll finish it April 27th because those dates in April that I had said we would be off, we won't be off. Because what I was doing then, I'm doing in March instead. So ACI 12 will be March 23rd to April 27th. Straight through. Okay, homework done. So let's gather our minds here as we usually do. Please bring your attention to your breath until you hear from me again. Now bring to mind that being who for you is a manifestation of ultimate love, ultimate compassion, ultimate wisdom. And see them there with you, gazing at you with their unconditional love for you, smiling at you with their holy great compassion, their wisdom radiating from them, that beautiful golden glow encompassing you in its light. And then we hear them say, bring to mind someone you know who's hurting in some way. Feel how much you would like to be able to help them. Recognize how the worldly ways we try fall short. How wonderful it will be when we can also help in some deep and ultimate way, a way through which they will go on to stop their distress forever. Deep down, we know this is possible. Learning about emptiness and karma, we glimpse how it's possible. And so I invite you to grow your wish into a longing, and that longing into an intention. And with that intention strong, we turn our minds back to our precious holy being. We know that they know what we need to know, what we need to learn yet, what we need to do yet to become one who can help this other in this deep and ultimate way. And so we ask them, please, 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 help me, guide me, teach me. And they are so happy that we've asked. Of course, they agree. Our gratitude arises. We want to offer them something exquisite. And so we think of the pure world. They are teaching us how to create. We imagine we can hold it in our hands, and we offer it to them, following it with our promise to practice what they teach us, using our refuge prayer to make our promise. Here is the great earth, filled with fragrant incense and covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain, 4 lands, wearing the jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make these the paradise of a Buddha and offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kalmirya Tayam. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest, may we reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest, may we reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest, may all beings totally awaken for the benefit of every single other. Okay. So in those last 3 classes, Master Shantideva was pointing out to us that all the different circumstances in which we believe that anger and the actions we do because of that anger could be a good thing that solves a problem. And he was pointing out that that's misthinking, and that in fact that anger towards any situation, the anger alone is a non-virtue, meaning it will ripen as some experience that's unpleasant for us in the future. That's what makes it qualify for a wrong deed, a bad deed. So not just our actions that we do because of anger, but the anger alone is a non-virtue. And his point is, as we understand emptiness and how seeds are planted and how they ripen better and better, we see that there's never a circumstance where being angry and acting from that anger could be the solution to the problem, because that's always going to bring an unpleasant result in its actual result of those deeds, those moments will be unpleasant, even if it looks like my anger and my action fixed the problem. It didn't. So he went through all the different circumstances. And so it would, if we're like getting those realizations, oh my gosh, I see that, then we will reach more episodes where something unpleasant is happening, and we're so clear that it's just coming out, not just, that it's coming out of my own seeds from past similar behavior. We really don't blame in the usual way. And so our response to this situation is different. And we see the whole experience as now it's actually an opportunity, right? Instead of an experience that's happening to me, woe is me. And so at that point, then, when pleasant things are happening, okay, great, we can use them. And when unpleasant things are happening, okay, great, I can use these too. And we shift from this sort of constant trying to avoid unpleasant or to meet unpleasantness with more unpleasantness. And we just shift to every experience is this opportunity for me to plant a seed in my mind intentionally, conscientiously, in order to create a more and more pleasant world for everybody. And that's how our practice of not getting angry leads into the practice of effort, the fourth perfection. So I'm not going to go through the details of your quiz. I just wanted that lead in to why the perfection of effort comes next. So let's go to our screen share here. The share button, that'll go away. This makes this bigger. Oh. All right, so cursor, go to the other screen. There it is. Here's our vocabulary, right? You see it? Sindru ki parchen. Parchen means perfection. Sindru means effort. I looked up effort in the dictionary, and it said effort is like applying a conscious or an intended strength towards achieving something, making effort. So I don't know, just think to yourself, what does it mean to make effort? It's a little different than just on automatic pilot doing my thing. It's turning that up a little bit stronger. And when I'm doing something I'm not so familiar with, I have to concentrate a little harder. I have to work at it a little bit. So effort usually has this connotation of work. And working hard. We all work hard. And it isn't just working hard that is the perfection of working, of that we're talking about here. Working hard in this context means we are we're making the effort to keep our karma and emptiness in mind as we're doing our deed, as we're choosing what deed we're going to do. So to make effort into the perfection of effort, where we have this context of, I'm going to take flowers to my Aunt Mary, and the reason I'm taking flowers to Aunt Mary is to please her, give her a little pleasure. But the deeper reason is that I'm practicing my perfection of giving so that someday I can help Aunt Mary come to see herself as a Buddha. You know, she may not even want that in this life that I know of. But I'm using this experience to plant the seeds in my mind to help me become the being who can help her ultimately, her and everybody, ultimately someday. Right? We've wrapped that all together into the word bodhicitta, perhaps. So if I'm giving my flowers to Aunt Mary as ordinary human, that's a kind deed. It will come back as some kind of pleasantness. But it's not the perfection of effort. The perfection of effort, or the perfectionizer of effort, would be, I'm going to take those flowers to Aunt Mary with bodhicitta in my heart. And the same deed imprints in my mind in this different way. And then when I am really knowing I'm doing that, and knowing it's making this different imprint in my mind, then my feeling as I'm taking my flowers to Aunt Mary, like, increases in the pleasure it gives me to give those flowers to Aunt Mary. And so it's more enjoyable, it's more fun, it's more powerful, more impactful on my mind. And effort becomes joyous effort. Having a good time doing our deeds, our dharma deeds, our deeds to become Buddhas for the sake of all sentient beings. So Master Shantideva is speaking to a bunch of monks who are practicing Vinaya, focused on the level of avoiding harming, doing what they do to be able to live together. And we know the story, right? They've actually acted in quite nasty ways to get him up there on the throne, giving this teaching, hoping he'll embarrass himself. And oh my gosh, he's given this extraordinary teaching, right? By now, they're probably jaw dropped. What's that word? Gobsmacked with the wisdom. And so now he's saying, look, are you having a good time studying, doing your prayers, meditating? Or are you doing it all from I have to do this, I have to be a big, tough monk, right? Do you see the difference? In my life, I find myself saying to a friend, I'm sorry I can't join you. I have to go to the grocery store. I'm sorry I can't join you. I have to review my notes for class. And it's the way we explain that we have something else we need to do. But what if I were to say, I'm sorry I can't join you. I get to go to the grocery store. I'm sorry I can't join you. I get to review my notes for class tonight. Do you feel the difference? In English, anyway. I don't know about your language, whether there's a similar habit pattern in expressing ourselves. But that's the difference. I have to go to the grocery store. some kind of obligation, chore, it's effort. I'd rather be doing something else. Versus I get to go to the grocery store. Wow. Like I'm looking forward to it and it's going to be a pleasant experience. The difference in our mind's imprint is huge. And that's this connotation of adding joyous effort to our other practices is I have to practice the perfection of giving. I get to practice the perfection of giving. I get to practice the ethical way of life. I get to practice not getting angry. I can feel it. I can't always hold it when I'm out walking around in experience. But I can imagine like, wow, how different it would feel to move through my life with that attitude of now I get to do this, now I get to do that. And that enthusiasm hopefully will impact others, uplift others. So he's giving us this chapter first, helping to enthuse us in the idea of enthusiasm, and then talking about, well, why can't we just go, oh, great, and turn it on? Because we probably can't. I hope that you can. But we have habits, and those habits die hard. So the first thing he says in this chapter, once you have practiced patience, begin your practice of effort, for enlightenment lies in making these kinds of effort. Without a breeze, they never flicker. And just so, in the absence of effort, merit can never occur. Is it true that we can't make merit if we don't make effort? Yeah, because what makes a kind deed a merit deed is to do it with that understanding of it's the emptiness of the three spheres and the ripening results in the ripening seeds planted. So technically speaking, until we've experienced emptiness directly, and so that wisdom is in our mind, whether we're consciously thinking of it or not, our good deeds, even done with our bodhicitta, aren't technically merit yet. But they always say, no, call it merit. The extent to which we have our bodhicitta in mind as we give our flowers to Aunt Mary is the extent to which giving the flowers is a merit versus a good karma. A good karma is a good thing. Don't discount it. A good karma made with wisdom becomes merit. And the difference is that merit is going to influence us to do more merit that's going to grow, and it's going to become the causes for our Buddhahood. I'll get there in a minute. If we don't apply ourselves in some way, we won't ever get off the automatic pilot that's been driven by me versus you, and I need to do this to protect me, to get what I want, avoid what I don't want. So we do have to apply some work to change ourselves in order to create the causes for the end of suffering. And he uses this analogy, without a breeze, they never flicker. It's a not so subtle touch into speaking towards the inner winds that move our mind. So we have these subtle bodies that have a similar framework of our gross body. And the there are three factors in that. The two we're interested in is the winds and mind. So the winds is that those energetic impulses that in Chinese medicine they call it qi. In the Indian tradition they call it prana. Others call it spirit. It's that subtle but tangible energy movement of energy. This tradition says that the mind can't move. The mind doesn't move. The only way the mind moves is to be carried on this energy impulse, this wind. So it takes a wind to move the mind. And then where the wind goes can be directed by the mind. So our concentration on something, the wind moves our mind to that object, and then our mind holds it on there, like the mind is the rider of the horse. So when that wind is moving in a certain direction, it helps us move in that direction. And there are certain winds that we can learn to use that actually blow on the force of life that gives us our will to live, our will to change, our passion. They call it an inner fire. And someday we might learn practices where we intentionally learn to use our wind and our mind to ignite and direct that inner fire. It's not likely to happen spontaneously. It does happen to some people spontaneously. But for most of us, we need to plant the goodness that brings the goodness of those teachings or instructions to us someday. And then we use our goodness to use those teachings to bring about this result, to use it to bring about this result. So Master Shantideva, he's telling his audience that he knows about that stuff, and that he's saying that without this impulse to move, firing off strong passion to follow that movement, we're not gonna suddenly shift from being ordinary human selfish beings to an aspiring bodhisattva trying to become the source of the end of suffering and happiness for our world. It takes the movement of a wind to blow on that flame. So is it just take more flowers to Aunt Mary? No, this flame pushing passion that he's encouraging us to step into is our effort in our other perfections. So we've already learned about the perfection of giving material things, giving protection from fear, giving the Dharma. We've learned about the perfection of moral discipline, avoiding killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, the others as well. And we've learned that when we're less attached to our stuff, we're less willing to harm somebody to keep it or get it. And as we're less and less willing to do harm, We can find ourselves in unpleasant circumstances and are still unwilling to do harm, even to ourselves, which is to let that anger come up. And we bridge over into this perfection of joyous effort when we are recognizing there is no other way I want to live my life than by way of the guidelines or the vision of myself being a perfection of giver, a moral discipliner, being able to take on unpleasant circumstances and not react badly because I know how to use them. And then it's like, all right, life is my arena in which I get to create my Buddha paradise. That's where we ended up in the last part of Patience chapter, is, the whole field of living beings is where we plant our seeds to reach our Buddhahood, not just the field of Buddha beings. Everybody, every experience we have, we act toward it, and that plants new seeds. So every experience is an opportunity to do it with bodhicitta in our mind, in our heart, so that our actions are all becoming causes for Buddhahood. If we had that in mind, wouldn't even making your bed be so much fun because you're making your Buddha paradise by making your bed? You're making your Buddha paradise by doing the dishes, by cleaning the bathroom, by taking the dog out. Like every little thing we do can be our cause for Buddhahood. And we tend to think, no, it's just the big things. No, it's everything. How do we get to that point? We learn about it. We study. We take our classes. We do our homework. We do our contemplations, our meditations. We help others. We do retreat. Geshe-la throws that in. We get ourselves out of everyday life from time to time to give ourselves the space to dig more deeply into these ideas in meditation. And then we come out and we used what we learned in our meditation out in life, see how we do. And to do all of that with this eager state of mind is what they're saying the perfection of effort is. We're learning the Dharma so well that we're using it in every moment of the day, every opportunity. Then everything we do can become merit. So I just talked about the first three perfections leading to the fourth, joyous effort. But then joyous effort verges over into our meditative concentration and our wisdom. So when we're having a good time doing our other perfections, our other Dharma, then when we bring our mind to our meditation, we still have this eager, I get to get on my meditation cushion for 20 minutes, as opposed to, now it's time to meditate. I have this obligation to meditate. I will sit down and do the same thing again that I've done every day, for 100 years. In that state of mind isn't joyous effort in meditation. And so then our meditation isn't really going to move us in the direction that we want to go because we're not making the merit. So we want our attitude of the joyous effort to carry over into our meditation as well. And meditations get dry, we get in a hurry. Don't hear this and go, oh my gosh, I've never done a really good deed ever in my whole life. Woe is me, I quit. Don't think that. Don't say that. Right? We're learning. So all of this is meant to help us grow our wisdom. So technically, the perfection of wisdom is the word for that experience of ultimate reality, the direct experience of emptiness, we call it. And that once that has happened to us, now we have the wisdom of the true nature of things. And now, technically, all our other practices of giving, moral discipline, not getting angry, having fun, and meditating are really perfections happening, perfectionizers. As our intellectual understanding of the marriage of karma and emptiness is growing, our wisdom is growing. And by applying that wisdom to our tasks, to our thinking, we are still moving ourselves along these paths of the perfections. We are changing. We're gathering the goodness that will result in that direct experience of emptiness. It will result in the wisdom that makes then our behaviors the merit makers. Right? So, yay, we're here. So the point is, joyous effort is sort of in between these two, the Bodhisattva activities that are mostly done through our body and speech, giving, moral discipline, not getting angry, and the two perfections that are done mostly with our mind, meditating and gaining and using the wisdom. Joyous effort is this bridge between. It's a mental state, really an emotional state. Wow, I get to, that we bring to the things that we do with our body and the things that we do with our mind. So the reason that's important is that those first three perfections, giving, moral discipline, and not getting angry, the seeds, the merit seeds that we are planting by doing those with wisdom are the seeds that go on to create the form body of our Buddha me. So when you become Buddha, you will have a body made of light, which is both experiencing itself in its paradise and emanating as anything anybody needs at the moment, which they may or may not see. So we understand there's the paradise body and the emanation body. I like to say there's the paradise being and the emanation being, because it's not like they're separate bodies. Anyway, but those come about as a result of our goodness made through body and speech, our actions. It's called the Tsunam Kisok. Tsunam Kisok. Tsunam means merit. Tsunam Kisok means the collection of merit. So when we use this term, it means all of those goodness, kindness is done, imbued with our bodhicitta that led to our direct perception of emptiness that then we continue to do and lead to our form body, our pure form body. But a Buddha body also has a Buddha mind. The Buddha mind is made with different seeds. Our mind comes from different seeds than our body. I don't know if here's a seed for mind and a seed for body, or if there's like every seed has body and mind, right? I believe it's every seed has body aspect and mind aspect. Even still, the body aspect of the seed will create my Buddha form body. The mind aspect of the seed will create my mind aspect of my Buddha. It takes both to have either. That collection of seeds that will make our Buddha mind ripen as the experience of omniscience, directly experiencing appearing reality and the empty nature of that appearing reality in all three times, all simultaneously. So if you think that through, it's like, okay, they're perceiving their own world and they're perceiving the world as it's experienced by the other beings as well. So they're experiencing both their paradise and every other Buddha's paradise, and they're experiencing me and you with whatever we're experiencing things as. They're experiencing that too, and they're experiencing me as a pure being and experiencing me not experiencing myself as a pure being. Like I get to the point where my conceptualizing just like blows circuits and I can't go any further until I come back and try again. So omniscience is half of your Buddha mind, the Dharmakaya is the other half, meaning that awareness of the emptiness of everything, simultaneous with the appearance of everything. Only an omniscient mind can do that simultaneously, appearances and emptiness. So to create that experience comes out of what's called the collection of wisdom, Yeshe Kisok. The collection of wisdom is what we're collecting when we do our meditations on emptiness. And then we use that conclusion to help ourselves make decisions about how do I react to the yelling boss? How do I react to getting out of bed in the morning with a backache? How do I react to, right? How's my response? What response do I want to do in any given moment to create the seeds that contribute to my collection of merit and my collection of wisdom? So the joyous effort piece is adding to both of those, having the enthusiasm and the drive to use everything that I do as an opportunity to burn off negativity, plant new seeds with as much wisdom as I can muster. Okay, that was a long story. So that verse says, without that effort, we won't we won't collect the two collections. We won't collect the goodness. The verse said merit, but here he's talking about the merit of collecting both good seeds of our body and speech, good seeds of mind. So he's made this case for the perfection of effort, and he finally defines it. He says, what is effort? It's joy in doing good. What is effort? It's joy in doing good. Sungang gela troa o. It's kind of fun to say anyway. Oh, sorry. Here it is. Tsungang. It looks like gang in English. It's not. It's more like gong. Gela troa o. Troa o means the taking joy part. It kind of sounds like that. Troa o. Joy. And then gay is short for gewa, which is the goodness, good deeds. Sun Gong is the question, what is effort? Effort is this gela troa o, not just troa o. And not just gewa, not just good deeds, but taking joy in doing the good deeds. Taking joy in choosing a different reaction to that angry yelling boss. Okay, here we go again. I'll try this one on for size. Let's see how it works. No, and maybe it does and maybe it doesn't. But that happy effort to respond with greater wisdom plants these seeds of both collection of merit and collection of wisdom. Wow. Okay. So it's not just trying hard, it's enjoying the effort. And then it's like, okay, so why don't I enjoy the effort, even in ordinary things? My yard needs to be weeded. I love to be outside. I love to garden. But while I'm weeding, my back hurts and right, my hands hurt. They're all over the place. It looks like I'm never going to finish. Right? I have this habit of thinking I'm doing that when I want to be doing something different. And so I'm begrudging, right? I have this feeling of begrudgingness. Instead of getting out there and enjoying being out in the fresh air and the sunshine, helping my yard look beautiful. It's just a habit pattern. And when I catch myself, being in the grumpy mode, it's just like, come on, Sarani. What else is there to do? Well, I should be studying my notes for class. I should be, right? I think we should strike the word should from our vocabulary because it's just like we apply that to ourselves and to others, and it's something we just can't live up to. So let's switch shoulds to I get to. And it automatically uplifts our heart a little bit. I get to weed the yard. Yay. And then my practice of patience is as I get to weed the yard and my hands hurt, I'm burning off having hurt somebody in some way. So who cares that my hands hurt? Have fun weeding the yard to create my Buddha paradise. Just that one little added piece is included then in the seeds as I'm beautifying my yard. It's mental. It's a mental state. Actually, it's a mental state, a heart state, more than thinking. Gunsung ge la troa o. Mm. So technically, the joyous effort we are training ourselves to turn on is the joyous effort turned towards our our dharma efforts. So Master Shantideva isn't talking about weeding my yard with joyous effort. He's talking about studying, memorizing, meditating, contemplating, uh, serving my lama, right? Focusing our mind, heart on the Dharma. But recall he's talking to monastics who don't have jobs and family lives. So for those of us who actually have both vows and jobs and family lives, it's our jobs and our family lives where our joyous effort with wisdom is where we apply it. But to learn how to do that, we do go through a period of time where our focus of activity is our study, our training, our learning, right? Our working with it in meditation. And again, we can take that on casually and go to our sangha or temple once a week and get inspired once a week, or we can meet with classes like this and go, no, I want to learn this stuff. I'm willing, I'm happy to give 2 days a week for the class, and then the other days of the week to study what I learned and do my meditations. Like we're making that decision to devote ourselves to a process of training. Okay. Geshe-la has said the practices that we learn uh, are it's such a goodness. It's coming out of our own past goodness. And it's an honor to meet them, to have them available, to do the assignments. We tend to think of it as a chore or an obligation. But when our attitude shifts to, no, this is such a precious opportunity, I'm eager to do my part, right? To help them happen, to help me learn as much as I can, and then be prepared to pass it along in some way or help another pass it along. It's a honor to do that. And when we have that heart shift, right, then that time to spend, it just comes up in our priority of life. And it not because somebody said you have to make that your priority. It's because no, I see the value of it and I see how it's helping me. And by helping me, it's helping the people in my world. I see, right, that it's worth the effort. Okay. Yeah, let's go on. So Master Shantideva is reading everybody's minds, no doubt. And he's been talking about joyous effort in our Dharma practices. And, they must be thinking, yeah, great, right? But knowing, I mean, he knows himself and what he had to overcome. He knows that there are things that are obstacles to just being able to say, oh, she's right, joyous effort. I will have joyous effort from now on. Like, I can't do it. It seems like my joyous effort has to be related to what's going on. What's going on needs to be really, really pleasant before my joyous effort turns on. And it's like, no, that's backwards. If I have joyous effort, anything that's going on is going to be fun. So he goes, what? There are things that block our joyous effort of being able to be in joyous effort more and more and more of our time. So here I will explain the things that work against it, the joyous effort. These are laziness, number one, an attraction to what is bad, number two, and the feeling of being discouraged or belittling ourselves is number three. So laziness, we all seem to know the word lelo means laziness. Laziness is, it isn't just, I don't feel like it at this moment. It goes a little bit deeper than that. It's an attraction to the inactivity. Like here, it's like I'd rather just sit and do nothing, or sit and leaf through a magazine. I want to go into that numb emotion, numb mind, numbness, to like that state is the laziness that he's talking about here. And I don't know. I think all of us have times when, man, I just want to sit around for a little while. And that's fine. He's not criticizing us for that at all. But sometimes that habit, for whatever reason, grows into an attraction. It's like that's what we really, really want to do. And that, of course, works against joyous effort in our Dharma practice, because we just can't get ourselves off the couch. Casually use the English word sloth, to just be slothful. It's kind of graphic. I don't think of it anyway. Resting is necessary and can be done as a Dharma activity. Right? You can watch a movie with your wisdom in mind, and that movie isn't blocking us from gathering our goodness. But it takes some effort, right? And it takes some clarity of mind to use it in that way. And the reason we're watching the movie is we just want to let that mind stop for a little bit. And even that is fine. Know what recharges your batteries and do it when you need to, but then do it and finish it, and then get back into your, disciplined pattern. And our tendency as humans is, well, that gave me some pleasure. I want more of that. And then more of that and more of that. And we don't set this clear, this is enough rest. And now I'll get back at it. It's like we just want more and more and more. And that's what becomes this laziness that blocks our joyous effort. Second factor is this one, Janen La Shempa. It's this attraction to what is bad. Every time we hear that word bad, good, I get this like resist reaction because it sounds so judgmental. And my own mind is so judgmental, it's like, shut up in there. I'm sick of that. And I hear the word bad and it just, I don't know, it just gets me. So remind ourselves that when we hear bad, good, what we mean is a a deed or a thought that plants a seed in my own mind, the result of which will be unpleasant for me. So it means a deed that I've done that I thought I did to get myself something I wanted or avoid something I didn't want. But in fact, what I made for myself is something I really don't want. Stupid, right? So maybe we would like I might react better to say an attraction to things that are just stupid to do because they end up hurting me is what we mean by bad. Mm. We do have attractions to things that are not wholesome, not planting seeds in our minds for things that will take us on our upward spiral to Buddhahood. We are human. We are living in a world of samsara. That, right? That's why we're on our spiritual path. We're not perfect. If we were, we'd be Buddhas. And maybe you are emanations of Buddhas and you know that and you're humoring me, in which case, thank you very much. But if not, right, don't be so hard on yourself, but be disciplined, right, in our efforts to apply what we're learning in order to change this mistake that's in all of our mental seeds that's only a mistake. So we can stop making a mistake, can't we? Haven't we? Have we ever realized something we were doing that was a mistake? And then decided, okay, I'm going to change. I'm not going to make that mistake anymore. Like that's a rejoiceable. You have something like that in life, you go, wow, yay, I stopped making a mistake. To grow your seeds for stop making the real mistake, which is me and me and you, and so we clash. Attraction to activities that we think are fun or helpful when in fact they are hurting us. That's this blocker to joyous effort in the Dharma. So if we don't recognize that killing the bug will come back to us as getting killed, we won't stop killing the bug. And that means our joyous effort in applying our wisdom is not there because our growing wisdom says, if I kill this bug, I'm going to get killed in the same way. So why in the world would I do it? I don't care who tells me I need to kill the bug. I'm not going to do it with joyous effort. I'm going to have fun not doing it. I'll show them. I'll catch the bug instead. I'll put him out in the compost. Okay. The third one that blocks our joyous effort is this giluk. Let's take our break. Then I come back. Okay. So the third factor that blocks our growing, joyous effort is this idea giluk, which means like personal discouragement, low self-esteem. I just can't do it. Geshe-la's example was, suppose you spend some time around a great teacher, a great master, and you see how they behave and you see them rock solid in their meditation for hours. And instead of getting inspired, we go, man, I can't ever be like that. I'd like to, but I can't do it. Just our own seeds of, you know, can't possibly. And so we don't apply our effort to really try because we're starting out with this belief that we can't do it. Master Shantideva, when he was talking to us about growing our practice of giving, do you remember? He said, start with carrots and potatoes. Start with little things that are easy to do. And then as those become habit, we can push ourselves to things that are a little harder than those, that if we had tried to be the first things we changed, we wouldn't have been able to do it because they were too hard. And now it's just a little bit more effort to do those new things. So same with our joyous effort, he says. Just start with little ways that you already feel an uplift in your heart when you do them. Right? Have the Dharma book that inspires you and look at that daily and feel like, oh yeah, this one always uplifts me a little bit, and use it. Consistent, small practices build our capacity. As our more keen understanding of the fact that I can't experience anything that's not a ripening result of this mind's own past behavior. And I become less and less inclined to blame, to continue to blame, right? Who I blame in any experience, whether it's a person or a thing. To catch myself and then to respond differently, it becomes more clear that the effort applied in doing that really does make a difference, is making a difference, even if it doesn't look like it. And it can become more enjoyable to try to catch that pattern sooner and sooner. It can become like a game. And then it's like our eagerness to try to do it increases. And that eagerness is the joyous effort component that we're talking about. So again, he's saying originally, apply that eagerness to our study, our contemplation, our meditation. And then we take all of that and we apply it to our activities and our choices in response to our experiences with this eagerness to try this all on for size. It will grow into a habit. It will grow into a state of mind, a state of heart. And that's what we are cultivating. So he goes on to say, get that over there. If laziness is a blocker to joyous effort, what is it that causes laziness? Because if we can stop the cause for laziness, we stop our laziness. If we try to stop our laziness without stopping the cause for laziness, we won't be successful. Go to the cause, stop the cause. What promotes the feeling of laziness is sloth, the sweet enjoyment of some pleasure, as well as a craving for time spent sleeping, all leading to a failure to feel a sense of disgust for the pain of the circle of life. So, mm, yeah. Is he saying that it's wrong to enjoy pleasure? No. Is he saying it's wrong to sleep? Is pleasure and sleep blocking our joyous effort? No, of course not. They're both necessary things. It's our attitude towards them of, whoa, this pleasure, I want more. I want more. I want more. I want more. Thinking that whatever it is that appears to be giving me the pleasure is the source of that pleasure. When our wisdom kicks in, right, any pleasure is a result of having shared it with others. So our immediate response would be, who can I share this with? And even if there's nobody there, right, just to have that thought, wow, this is nice. Let me share it. There's always the omniscient beings you can offer it to, which doesn't mean you have to stop experiencing it. You just share it, right? To help perpetuate the pleasure. It's not the thing that brings the pleasure anyway. So share pleasure, moral, healthy, wholesome pleasure with others. And you feel more pleasure, even if your circumstances don't change. Right? Pleasure is not related to what's going on. Then he says, too, promoting laziness is that craving for more and more sleep. So, yes, we need to sleep. We need to get good sleep, restful sleep. And we need to sleep when we're tired. But the tendency is, I want more sleep. Sleep is so pleasant. Well, I want more and more and more instead of establishing how much is enough at any given time and then getting up and finishing it. The reason we do both of those things, attachment to the objects of pleasure and oversleep, is because we don't have this disgust for the circle of life. He's pointing out, like he's talking about renunciation. When our renunciation is strong, we are not tempted at all to slide into sloth, whatever we mean by sloth, because we know we're just contributing to this three kinds of pain. Even as we feel like we're out of pain for a minute while we're in the pleasure, we just know it's going to wear out. It's like renunciation is disgust with this process through which, in our very efforts to get happy, we contribute to our unhappiness. Like this world where we're banging our own big toe with a hammer and we wonder why our toe hurts. That's samsara. So when we start, I mean, we all of us have had some amount of renunciation or we would not be here. And then as our practices get good, actually, it's there's a tendency for our renunciation to slip a bit because, yeah, I need life to do my practices and life's not so bad anymore, even though the same unpleasant things are happening. It's all an opportunity. Now it's like, okay, that I'm in samsara because I have my tools and I'll deal with it. And it's a great mindset to be in, and it's a dangerous mindset to be in because we can get complacent. And in that complacency, our samsara creeps back in, and we lose the sense of urgency that we had when we had that first thought is, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with this picture. It just isn't right. Think back to whatever it was that set you on your path in the beginning, whether it was this path or not. I mean, I remember mine. I was sitting by the pool, and it's like, right. It was it was hard. It was a really, really painful feeling. And it motivated me, and it made me change directions completely. But I don't wake up every day with that feeling of the situation is desperate. Here, I've got to figure it out. Now it's like, okay, I got it figured out. Now it's just a matter of time. But do you see it? It takes the edge off my effort. And it takes the edge off my joyous effort, says Master Shantideva, to lose our disgust for samsara. But it's tricky because as a bodhisattva, we are using samsara to stop samsara. In which case you can't, I mean, we still need to have this urgency to change it and stop it, but not have the avoidance piece that seems to come up with samsara is so bad, I just need to avoid the whole thing. And we can't avoid, of course. So when we're finding ourselves slipping into this pattern of, oh, I'll do my homework later, or, oh, yes, I will go to that program with my family instead of come to class because it's so important to them that I do that. It's like, maybe so, maybe not. Really check motivation here and see. I fall back into what am I thinking about the seeds I'm planting by making this decision? What's the highest thing I can do for everybody? The answer will be different in different circumstances, right? Sometimes it really will be, yes, I need to go with my family to do such and such instead of go to class because of this reason. And I'm going to do this other thing instead of class with a really high motivation, and fine. But if it's just to not hurt their feelings, or because I really do want to go do that thing instead of class, we need to check our own motivation because of the seeds we plant when we make that decision, this over that. We are always making decisions. What's more important right now in what I do next? As our wisdom grows, our understanding that the power of our Dharma practice to help us influence our world in more and more uplifting ways, we naturally find our efforts in our Dharma learning and practices take priority because they are of greater benefit for the others than these worldly things that I can do for them. But not because somebody said so, because we've figured it out, right? What the highest benefit I can do in any given situation. It may be run and jump on your meditation cushion when everybody expects us to go deal with the angry boss, settle it with the angry boss about whether you keep your job or not. And you realize, no, I need to go meditate on emptiness to fix this solution. And nobody's going to agree with you, least of all the boss. But because of our wisdom and our joyous effort, we go sit on the cushion. Okay. So we are behooved to recheck our level of renunciation from time to time, our disgust with samsara. No, I'm not going to do the Tibetan in the interest of time. It's there, and I think you'll see it in the student notes. So he goes on to reinforce this apparent sloppiness in renunciation to the audience he's addressing, right? And I'm part of that audience now, so we get to hear it as well. He says, haven't you even got eyes to see how those in the world with you have gone steadily to the slaughter? To sit here still and enjoy your sleep is just the same as the oxen waiting for the butcher. It's a pretty graphic image. No, the cattle are lined up going into the slaughterhouse. They don't know that they're lined up to go into the slaughterhouse. They're just chewing their cud, doing what they do. And they don't have the mind power. They don't have the karmic seeds for a mind that can think it through and go, hey, nobody ever comes out of that building. What's going on in there? Maybe I don't want to be in this line. Maybe I need to do something different. As a animal, we're incapable of having a thought like that. And he's saying, look, if we are attracted to oversleeping, attracted to overeating, attracted to laying around, instead of attracted to our Dharma activities, says we are no different than one of those cattle in line to the slaughterhouse. Can't you see it? Is what he's saying to his audience. And I don't know, the first time I met this, I was much younger. And yeah, I had had some patients die, and my parents had died, and some people had died in my life, but not like close friends, not except for my parents, not immediate close to me people. And now that I live where I live, which is a 55 plus community, when we got here, like there were so many 90-year-olds. And I've been here 11 years. They are all gone, right? There's a whole new batch of 90-year-olds now. Many people that I met here when I first got here, loved them dearly. We became fast friends. They're gone. And it's like, whoa, I am not so far away from being one of those that's gone. And it didn't hit me like that when I was 40, and a patient would die. It's like, that's just what happens in life. But now it's like, oh man, it's going to be my turn soon. Master Shantideva is saying we grow up learning to push that away. We all deep down know that we are never more than 4 minutes from being dead. But in order to cope with that, we learn, no, not me, not later, not me, not till later. And we have proof that we're right because here we are. So see, I was right that I'm not going to be dead in 4 minutes. Master Shantideva said, yep, welcome to the line of cattle. He's hoping to wake up our understanding of the three sufferings of samsara. There's nothing we can do motivated by a misperceiving mind that's not a cause for either obvious suffering, the suffering of change, or pervasive suffering. That's what got us here as humans in samsara, is that mistake. But even with that mistake, having done a whole lot of goodness, which is how we get to see ourselves as humans, and humans with access to the Dharma, and humans with access to Dharma that we can in fact understand and use. So he's saying, if you're in that circumstance and we're finding ourselves giving into laziness, goes, what, are you nuts? Right? We have such a perfect circumstance and we're losing it. We're using it moment by moment. So he's trying to inspire us by giving us this graphic about the cattle to the slaughter. Ugh. I remember the first time I heard it, it was like, ah! Why do we think this way? Death is coming to take you, moving at incredible speed. In the time you have left, try to amass good karma. When the moment arrives, it's true you may give up your laziness, but what good can it do at a time so wrong? So if we wait until later to prioritize our spiritual path changes, the later never comes. And then when it finally does, it's too late to make the changes. Now, it's never too late to make changes. Any little change we make, even in the last day of living, imprints in our mind and affects us in the future. But if we wait until we're retired before we devote ourselves to the Dharma, by the time we get to retire, right, we're that much older and we have that much less time, and our bodies need that much more attention to stay functional. We have more samsaric draw than we even had when we were younger, because things get so much harder as we get older, because that's what it is to get older, is we've used up our goodness of being young by not perpetuating youngness, goodness, and we run out of it. And if we wait until we're free from our worldly obligations before we start our practice, we can't sit in lotus posture. Our knees won't let us. We won't even be able to sit on a cushion. We'll be on a chair, right? The limitations from the karmic changes block us from being able to make the effort at the level we need to make the transformation that we say we want to make. We say, oh, when I finish my college, I'll start studying the Dharma. And then we finish college and we get a good job. And oh, when I get a vacation, I'll study the Dharma. And you only get 2 weeks vacation. It's like, come on, Master Shantideva says. If we keep saying, I've got time, we'll put off prioritizing our spiritual life. And then we let our laziness, our discouragement, our attraction to the things that seem to bring pleasure that actually perpetuate samsara, we let those be our priorities, is what he's trying to say. Yeshua points out that, wait, is this the one? Yes. That when our time of death comes and we say, wait, I can't die now. I haven't finished my ACI 12 homework. Wait, I can't die now. I haven't finished my book. Wait, I can't die now, right? My granddaughter's getting married next month. Lord of Death doesn't care one wig. What we have not yet finished when Lord of Death comes. So, the moral to the story is finish stuff, but also don't think that having not finished is going to protect us in some way. Be prepared for when it happens, whether it's tomorrow or 50 years from now. How do we be prepared? Anyway, there are things to learn. Do I talk about that? Get my classes mixed up. Oh, I do talk about that. Wait a minute. Okay, so that. Ah, okay. Sorry, got myself distracted here. The Master Shantideva has said our blocks to joyous effort causes is our sloppy renunciation. And with our sloppy renunciation comes this belief that we have more time, we have plenty of time, that lets us, delay doing our practices now because we'll do them later. And then he says, the later that finally comes is when you get your cancer diagnosis or you get your car accident, right? Or for a senior, you fall and break your hip. And it's like when that happens, you're so involved in surviving whatever is happening that you still don't turn your mind to the Dharma. So if it's like dying, if we knew what the experience to die was like, if we let ourselves remember, then we would not have this lack of renunciation that lets our laziness block our Dharma practices. Just to understand what happens at death would be so motivating to change our behavior is the point that he's trying to make. that we would be in joyous effort on our Dharma practice constantly out of this, I don't know when I'm going to die. So it seems like the reverse. It seems like he's trying to scare us, or he's trying to, uh, I don't know. It's the kind of thing I rejected from church, was like, you do this or you're going to go to hell. And we see it in this tradition as well. And fortunately, we have the seeds to have heard an explanation for why they say that, because they say it, but they don't give you the explanation. And fortunately, we've had that explanation. So he's reminding us that in the process of dying, um, in this verse, what is it that you imagined you do at the moment of death? Tormented by the memory of the wrongs you've done, with the roar of the hell realms in your ears ringing, such terror that you cover your body in shit and reach the depths of insanity. So in this process called dying, the the um, the energies of the body are failing to interact in the way that keeps the balance, that keeps us alive. And things decompensate. The mind's consistency breaks down. And what happens is that the elements that make up our physical body, the factor that gives us solidity, the factors that gives us fluidity, the factors that gives us temperature, metabolism, the factors that give us movement, and the factors that give us awareness of all those things, they are breaking down. And they go one by one, always in the same sequence. And we're not trained in this experience. So although we've experienced it many times before, we don't remember it, not because somebody says we couldn't, but because of the way the seeds are planted. So first, the awareness of having solidity falls away. You become unaware of your physical body in the process of dying. Like, this is in the time that it's happening. Then the the winds that move fluidity cease. And so all fluidity ends. Then all temperature ends. And then all movement ends. And then there's this stillness of I don't know, stillness of the mind. And even that ends in the sense of it shifts to a different experience, and then an even more subtle different experience, and then an even more subtle different experience, and then a drop away of anything, which this tradition calls reaching the clear light. The clear light is the Diamond Way term used for the direct perception of emptiness. It's the same emptiness that one experiences, but the method through which you get there is different. So they have a different name for it. Every time we die, the mind has reached that clear light of its own nature, but untrained, we won't know that's what it is. An untrained mind reaches that experience and resists it. And then that starts the process back down into rebirth. So there are initiations called POA, to learn transfer of consciousness. And there is a practice to learn how to go through those sequence of experiences consciously in order to consciously use the clear light. And that whole thing becomes a career of practice, learning how to do it in preparation for the time that it happens. But it isn't something that we can just get an empowerment and say, okay, because I've had the empowerment, that my dying is going to be a different experience. We have to also do the work with the joyous effort to learn how to manage our mind. Because what happens as we're reaching the point of the still is by then the body is dead. It's gone. It's done. Western medicine declares death at that point where everything goes still. There are these 4 different things that have to happen before the mind actually shifts from the death of this body into bardo. That is not perceivable in any way from Western side or understanding. And so we say body has died like 4 steps before the mind has left. But by the time the mind where the body has died, the mind does not have the anchor that it used to make words, to make thought. So the mind is just moving all over the place. No control. And part of what it experiences as it's going through all of this is a clear this life recall, apparently. And in particular, the things that hurt us, the things that we were upset about, are the things that become glaring. I don't know why the good things wouldn't become glaring, but the bad things become glaring. And then those are the like seeds ripening that will make us have a sound experience that is the sound of the next life that we will have. And this scripture says for most humans, we do enough selfish, unkind things that the likelihood of the seed pushing us into a life as a hell realm being is pretty high. So you're probably going to hear the sounds of a hell realm. You don't know. Your mind doesn't go, oh, those are the sounds of a hell realm. It doesn't have that capacity at that point. But it's a terrifying sound of like ultimate suffering. And that mind, is unfortunately being forced in that direction. It's awful. The reason I'm supposed to tell you about it is that it's the pain of dying is to lose this connection that keeps us grounded, and to have this premonition through sound of what's coming next with no control over it, no nothing. So dying is a particular kind of pain, they say. Probably not a physical pain because you don't have that body awareness anymore, but a mental pain that's indescribable. And they say that's why we sublimate it in our this life, because otherwise we would be frozen in terror, right? Waiting for it. So it's functional to be able to set aside, I could be dead in 4 minutes so that we can, do the things we do for an ignorant human. For a human on the path, we don't want to sublimate it anymore. We want to recognize that is what happens, and it doesn't have to. Right? That's all happening by way of karmic seeds born out of the mistake that caused all my selfishness, and I can change it. I can learn how to change it so that the whole process called the dissolution does not have to be painful. It does not have to be unpleasant, and it doesn't have to be such that you can't reach that clear light and know it as your own true nature, in which case you gain your liberation at death. But if we don't know that, Master Shantideva says, remember the pain of death. Do you still want to be a cattle in the line? Which is what our laziness and sloth is like. All right, let's go on. You set your hopes on results, unwilling to make any effort. Suffering shower down on those least able to bear them. Already in the embrace of death, you imagine yourself an immortal. Cry out when the sufferings come to destroy you. So we have these three presumptions that we hold to in order to be functioning human adults. The first one is we think, wait a minute, let me see. We expect happiness to come to us without having had to create the causes for that result. And he's not criticizing us for doing it. He's pointing out that what it is to be human is to have this expectation. Do we want to be happy? Yes. Do we think we need to do things to make ourselves happy? Yeah. But do we think of it as, how do I create the causes for the result that will be my happiness? No. We try to manipulate our world to get the things that will make us happy, expecting those things to make me happy. And that's where the mistake comes in. Is there anything that can actually make you happy? Is there anything you can experience in the moment that can be the actual cause for the happiness you feel? No, because what you're experiencing is the result of some cause you made before. If that result, that experience, seems to be the cause of your happiness, it's because when you made the seed that's ripening as that result, you saw yourself trying to make somebody else happy. So it's not the eating the triple berry pie that's bringing the pleasure. It's the having shared ice cream with Samati before that's bringing the happiness from the triple berry pie for me now. Is it the triple berry pie? No, it's the sharing the ice cream. And it's like, we don't grow up knowing that. I didn't anyway. I just expected that what I would do in the moment would bring me some pleasure, some happiness. That's why I do. That's why I did what I did, what I do to get happiness. And then we're so disappointed when it doesn't work because it's like, wait, that was supposed to make me happy. It's so mistaken, says Master Shantideva. But we have this belief that that's how the world works. And that contributes to our laziness. Like happiness is just going to come to me. Pleasure is just going to come to me. I don't have to do anything to make it happen. Doesn't work, does it? Second one, we deep down we believe we are immortal. I know I like to think of teenage kids, right? They'll do stuff that as an adult, it's like, are you nuts? You know, all the things that could go wrong, right? And they just like, yeah, it's not even in their like capacity to think out possible consequences for what's going on. I don't think I ever was ever a teenager in that way. I was always thinking consequences and so restricted myself overly, I think, as a result. But, you know, my little brother, he had a bicycle and he was pretty athletic. And before they did all these amazing things with bicycles, he was trying to do it with his. And I saw him one day riding his bicycle down the street and he was sitting on it backwards. And, you know, he was doing it. And I'm thinking, you know, you're going to hit a car. A car's going to hit you. Yeah. I was like, what are you doing that for? But he is like having this good time riding his bicycle backwards. And it's just like he had no clue he could get hurt. No clue. This idea of immortality, right? I can't be broken. And then, of course, we grow up and we lose it to some extent. And curiously, our me is immortal. Sarani is mortal. Sarani's body is mortal. But our subject state of mind, it is immortal. But we don't relate to ourselves as our subject state of mind. We relate to ourselves as this personality. And the personality me is mortal. But we don't think so. And so we do all kinds of things in the moment, thinking we have plenty of time to do more things in the moment to get us the things we want. But we're not immortal. Our seeds for this life wear out. And then we're surprised and offended. How dare they? Right? How dare they not cure my cancer? How dare they run me over with that bicycle? We blame the other, whether we do it outright words or like in our reactions. We are offended by dying. And he says, lastly, as we put off our inspiring ourselves with our Dharma efforts as our priority, if we put those off until we get older and older, the difficulty is that as we get older, it's harder and harder to tolerate those discomforts that come as a result of getting older because we've used up our goodness, as I said before. And so we're not able to make the strength of the efforts to change ourselves if we've waited to make the change in ourselves to when we think we are in trouble. Like, oh, I'm old enough now that even if I knew I was living till I was 95, it's like the last 20 years went by so fast. Egads, right? 20 years suddenly doesn't sound like so much. It gets harder and harder to apply ourselves to our practices if we didn't start when we had the strength, physical strength and mental strength to do so. And I can confirm that. Oh, I got 2 minutes. So we must make use of this boat, the human life we have, to cross over the great river of suffering. The boat is hard to find again later. Do not sit then, ignorant one, at this moment there asleep. So he's using asleep in a whole different way now, right? His audience wasn't snoring. His audience was staying asleep to the urgency of their situation, and how complacency has crept in to help inspire us. You give up the highest kind of pleasure, the holy Dharma, infinite numbers of causes that bring you pleasure. Why is it that you are attracted so much to being distracted by causes for pain, to busyness and the like? If we have the Dharma, right, the source of all happiness and pleasure, why in the world do we spend even a moment in our worldly attitudes towards worldly things? We've got such a treasure. What's the matter with you, right? He's wanting to take us and come on. I need to hear it myself. We think that the things we go to for happiness are the source of our happiness. Further, we think things that we go to for happiness, we don't know that those things can actually be a source of our unhappiness in the future. And it's not really the things, it's the what we're willing to do to get them. Our behavior towards others is the source of happiness or suffering. Our behavior, nothing else. And our behavior now plants causes. Our experience now is the result of causes planted before. So we're in this gap, and the gap is frustrating when we've got our mind still focused on the result. Like, I've planted a seed, I want this result. I want this result. And it keeps us frustrated and exhausted because we're not getting the result we want. Constant pleasure, constant happiness. When our joyous effort in the Dharma kicks in, we're recognizing where the fun is in the planting. In the planting in the face of any given experience. When that's fun, choosing the most powerful seed to plant, when that's fun, what the results from past plantings doesn't matter, because it's just another opportunity to have fun planting new seeds. We plant, we plant, we plant, we plant, we plant, we plant. Who cares about what grows out of those seeds? Because what we've planted is designed to bring about happiness for everybody. That's the Bodhisattva guidance, the Mahayana way. What seeds do we plant? Giving, moral discipline, not getting angry, having fun doing all of it, taking it to our meditation cushion to grow our emptiness understanding so that we do it all the more powerfully. It's not sequential. It's moment by moment. Right? So I don't know. I just like can't quite get the words around what I'm trying to convey. This shift from react to plant, respond. How fun it could be, really, if we were in that mode of, I'm planting the seed for this, I'm planting the seed for that. I can't live it. I admit I can't live it yet. But in the times when I am in it, life's not any easier, but it's so much more pleasurable. Because I'm not reacting to this is bad, this is good, I want this, I want that. I'm just planting. And planting's fun. So we're not done with joyous effort yet, but we've gotten this glimpse is into a little bit more about ourselves, about why we give in to our old human habits of laziness, things that we think bring us some enjoyment when in fact they're just going to wear out. There's some version of the three sufferings. All right. I think I did what I needed to do for your homework. There's my cursor. Stop the share. Remember that person we wanted to be able to help? We learned a lot that we will use, we are using to help that other stop their suffering forever. Our own deeds, helping them, whether we're interacting with them or not. That's so extraordinary. Be happy with yourself. And think of this goodness like a beautiful glowing gemstone you can hold in your hands. Recall your own precious holy beings. See how happy they are with you. Feel your gratitude to them, your reliance upon them. Ask them to please stay close, to continue to guide you, help you, inspire you, to have more fun in your practice. And then offer them this gemstone of goodness. See them accept it and bless it. And they carry it with them right back into your heart. See them there, feel them there. Their love, their compassion, their wisdom. It feels so good. We want to keep it forever. And so we know to share it by the power of the goodness that we've just done. May all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom and thus gain the two ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom make. So use those 3 long exhales to share this goodness with that one person, to share it with everyone you love, to share it with every existing being everywhere. See them all filled with loving kindness, filled with wisdom, filled with joyous effort. And may it be so. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity.
Thank you, teacher.